Let's talk about some knitting, y'all. Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with you all today. All right, everybody, today we are going to be talking about the Bestie Vestie, and it is designed by Vanessa Smith of Vanessa Smith Designs. Now, I am so excited about this pattern because I have been secretly test knitting this pattern since May, okay? May, and it is August. I have been keeping this a secret, and it has been so hard. In fact, the designer, she kept this secret so well that even in the test group, we didn't find out the name of the pattern until this morning. Okay? We found out the name of the pattern that we had been testing the same time you all did. All right? But it was funny because in the test group, she had just named it like the cable and lace vest. And I was like, I think that's a pretty good name. But then this morning she was like, no, it is going to be called the Bestie Vestie. Another cool thing about this pattern is that there are instructions for in-between sizes. So there's instructions provided for making in-between sizes ranging from 30 to 67 inches, and in centimeters that's 75 to 175, 167.5 centimeters, which is great because sometimes with standard knitting sizes, you know, sometimes you kind of fall in between and you have to make adjustments and things like that. Vanessa's got you covered. She's already put the guesswork out of it for you. You will be able to find your size. Okay, so the size I made was the size 8. And in terms of ease for this pattern, it is intended to fit with negative ease. And it's going to be fitted with negative ease at the full bust and basically when you wear it over another garment. So if you wear this over something, which is most likely what I'm going to do, you're going to have negative ease. However, if you wear it by itself, you will have up to 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters of negative ease. So it just depends on what you wear underneath it. It's going to depend on how it fits. And also you want to think about when you are sizing, when you're picking out a size for this pattern, consider that it is negative ease. So just something to think about. Okay, so let's talk about the yarn. So the yarn I'm using, I used a single strand of DK weight. I didn't hold it double with any other yarn. So this is how much I have left. It's about, I weighed it and it's 54 grams. So about a half a skein. So this yarn is Cascade Yarn 220 Superwash Merino. And it is 100% Superwash Merino wool. It is a number 3/number 4 medium weight yarn. So it's always weird to me when a yarn can't be classified, whether it's DK or worsted, but it's a DK light worsted weight yarn. 100 grams per ball, 3.5 ounces. It's 212 yards per ball, 200 meters. And yeah, it is fantastic. Oh, the color is number 24, Candy Pink. And I will be leaving my Ravelry page below, so that's going to have all of the specs for, you know, what I use and everything. Okay, so the yarn. The yarn is very nice. I don't know what to say about it. It's a nice yarn. It really is. I think the thing that was driving me crazy about this yarn is that every once in a while I had to pick these little, what do you call them? It's almost like it was pilling, and I had to pick the little strands out every now and then, and that was kind of annoying. Also, it sheds like crazy. I wear a lot of black yarn, and so it will shed on you, but it is a really nice yarn. Let me know if you've used this. Also, there is a Cascade 220 non-superwash as well, so it kind of have, you know, all your bases covered. But yeah, it's a really soft yarn, and it softens up even more after blocking, which we'll get into a little bit. But yeah, I think that was my only gripe, is that every now and then I had to peel these little fuzzies out of the yarn, which is, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it's a good yarn. Where did I get this? I think I went to my yarn shop and got this. Yeah, because sometimes I just need to feel things, and I had some questions about the gauge as well. And there's little fluffies. All I have to do is like this, and the little fluffies are everywhere. Yeah, fluffy yarn. Gotta love it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, needle size. So for the body, I used a US 6, which is a 4mm. And then for the ribbing, just, the armholes, neck holes, and the bottom hem, I used a US 4, which is a 3.5mm. Okay, so a little bit more about this pattern. It is very customizable, and you can knit it to a cropped length or a mid-size length. So here's the thing. When I signed up for the test knit, Vanessa was basically looking for people with larger bust sizes, like 50 inch and higher. And she was also looking for people that either wanted to do the cropped version or the full length version. And I told her, I'll do the cropped length version. I got a short torso. The cropped version would fit me really well. Well, thing is, after I finished it, it was already way below the crop length, way below my belly button. And then when I blocked it, yeah, it grew. It grew even more. So yeah, I wouldn't even say this is cropped or mid-length. I would say this is a full-length vest, and I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, I think the problem is that my stitch gauge was fine, but my row gauge was off. And so, and the crazy thing about that is I actually swatched, okay? I was a good test knitter, and I swatched. And you know what? I was still off the row gauge. And when I swatched, I made the row gauge, like I had the right row gauge, but gauges change, so it is what it is. My tension could have changed. I'm sure I did something. But anyway, let's see what else. So yes, I did mention that I swatched, and I did meet gauge with the recommended US 6 knitting needle. When it comes to knitting, I am a bit of a scaredy cat, and I do use lifelines. I used a lot of lifelines with this pattern because there were a ton of new techniques and things that I wasn't sure about. And so after I would finish a section, or after I would finish short rows, I would put lifelines in there just in case I had to rip back or something like that. So the lifelines were very, very helpful. And another thing I like about this pattern is that it is truly size inclusive. She's got you covered on so many sizes. In fact, I recommend that you go on the pattern page, which I will link below. Go on the pattern page and look at the samples of the test knitters. There are so many body sizes represented in this vest, and I think that's so amazing. And so you can go in there and look and see if there's somebody with maybe a similar body shape or bust measurement to you. They've got cropped ones, they've got longer ones, and yeah, I really think that's wonderful. And speaking of test groups, Vanessa had 90 test knitters for this, y'all. Okay, she was trying to make sure this pattern was done right. All right, over 90 test knitters, and that's not even including the tech editing that she had done before and after the pattern was tech edited. So after it was tested. So yeah, so she had it tech edited several times, even after having all these testers. Like, that was crazy, okay? And smart, very smart. So she made sure that all the bases were covered, because a lot of times, like, especially someone like me who has been test knitting for a very long time, sometimes test knitters will miss things, and then the other test knitter will catch it. Sometimes certain sizes can be perfectly well written. There's no feedback. And then another size, there might be feedback. There might be something that the designer needs to go back and take a look at. And so having 90 test knitters, like, wow. I'm pretty sure everything was caught. So I thought that was really cool. All right, so oh yeah, so I want to tell you all about the extras with this pattern. So I already mentioned that there's instructions for both the cropped and the mid-lead version, but also she includes instructions on how to do bust starts as well. And also it includes both vertical and horizontal bust starts. I had never done bust starts before. Like, the whole land of bust starts was truly new to me. And so it was definitely a skill that I had to learn. Also, the pattern includes YouTube tutorials. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Vanessa later, but she has a YouTube channel where she does a lot of knitting tutorials and things like that. And so in regards to every technique that's in this pattern, she has a YouTube video for those techniques, especially like the real special type of techniques that you don't see very often as a knitter. She has tutorials on those where she walks you step by step. You can slow down the video if you want to, things like that. And so that is definitely super, super helpful. And also, she includes both written and charted instructions on this front lace cable panel. So I really like that. And that was really helpful to me because at the time of knitting this, I didn't know how to read charts. And so to have those written instructions were super, super helpful. But it's so funny because I ended up learning how to read charts on the pattern that I knitted after this. Yeah, but anyway, reading charts is very important, especially, like, I know that now, but the fact that she had both charted and written instructions for this panel piece here was amazing. So I really like that. All right, y'all. So I alluded to bust starts a little bit earlier, and as I mentioned, I had never knit bust starts before. I had no idea that when you knit bust starts, when you're not wearing the garment, it still looks like you're wearing the garment, okay? And this was before I had blocked it, and I was holding it up and looking at it, and I was like, okay, like, it looks like I'm still wearing the shirt. I don't know, it just, I reached out to Vanessa, and I was like, girl, are these bust dart holes or bust dart slots gonna stay this pronounced the whole time? Like, what in the world? This is gonna look really funny. I just thought, like, these bust darts looked so weird. They looked like I had sewn a bra or something into the vest. Like, I don't know. I had never knit bust darts before, and y'all, bust starts that have not been blocked yet look super, super weird. And she had to explain it to me. And as you can see, like I said, it did block out, but I was worried at first because I was like, is this supposed to look like this? But apparently it does. So yeah, and just, shout out to Vanessa for being so patient with me. Because I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know how that was supposed to work. But yeah, that's how it worked. And another thing too that I learned, if you look, let's see, get it a little less blown out. So yeah, so right here, the line isn't as visible right now because I've blocked it. But also there's a line here that comes from doing the bust darts. I didn't know about that. I thought I had did something wrong, but Vanessa checked it and she was like, no, when you add bust starts to a garment, it leaves a bit of a line there. And so that made me feel better because I was like, what have I done now? Okay, so a little bit more about the vest. It is knit seamlessly from the bottom up, and I'm always talking bad about bottom up garments because you can't try them on as you go. But I just tried to try them on the best that I could. And it was really interesting trying on a bottom up garment. And it got easier like after I had put the sleeves on. It got a lot easier. So, that was good that I was able to try it on. And just from the first time that I tried it on, I knew that this pattern was going to work. I knew that it was going to look good. You can tell that the grading was done really well because it just fit me perfectly. And I would say that I have about 1 inch of positive ease, slightly a little bit less depending on what I'm wearing underneath it. But for the most part, I'd say I have about 1 inch of positive ease, or even, well, negative ease. Yeah, I'm still learning ease, y'all. I'm still learning ease. Maybe one day I will understand it. But my point is, the way it fits me, even when I was trying it on the first time, I knew that it wasn't going to be too tight, too fitted. And I really liked the way that, it fit even trying it on. And so, of course, that gave me the confidence like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But yeah, so it was challenging but enjoyable at the same time. And I think the thing is, so I got a little like, I don't know, intimidated, I guess, by the pattern. But once I like calmed down and started working on the pattern, I realized that you're just, I don't know, you're just kind of knitting, and then you get to the panel and you just have to keep up with where you are. I think that's like the most important thing. And so, yeah, it was challenging, but once I figured out how to do the technique, it was actually very enjoyable to knit. So, that was cool. All right. So I do want to talk about all of the new skills that I learned. Y'all, I learned so many new knitting skills with this pattern. It is amazing, and I'm going to be able to use these skills as I make more knitting projects. So let's talk about these new techniques. I learned how to knit cables. I learned how to do a shadow, wrap, and turn short row. And I learned that with the shadow wrap, you knit an extra stitch to create the double stitch. And so instead of pulling a stitch upwards to create the double stitch like a German short row, you do it a little bit different. And so that was really cool. Since I already knew how to do a German short row, it was really cool to learn how to do the shadow wrap. And also I learned how to do the alternate cable cast on, which was really neat once I got the hang of it. And what I like so much about the alternate, or is it alternative or alternate cable cast on, is that you don't have to guess how much of a tail you're going to need before you start the pattern. And of course, we all know with the long tail cast on, that's something you really have to think about, is like, how much, am I going to keep, and how much tail, like I call it, like how much extra string or yarn you're going to need before you, start your cast on. So with the alternate cable cast on, you don't even have to think about that. So that's amazing. Okay, so I also learned how to do the left leaning double decrease, the right leaning double decrease, and the twisted center double decrease. Like, y'all, I had never heard of this stuff before. I also learned how to do the twisted knit two together, the twisted slip knit. And I learned that after all this time, I had been doing the regular slip knit wrong. So that was a rude awakening. What I really enjoy about this pattern is that this pattern has given me the confidence to try new knitting skills. And I mean, I learned so much that I feel like going into other patterns, I won't get so easily intimidated, and I will be more likely to knit that pattern and not look at the techniques like, oh, that's twisted rib, oh, I can't do that, or oh, that requires cable, oh, I can't do that. Yeah, and Vanessa showed me how to do cables. She literally, well, not literally, but it felt like she was holding my hand through the process. So I just really appreciate that. Now, I must admit that there were times where I got totally overwhelmed by this project. There were many, many rants. Hello, beautiful people. Today I am at home struggling with these shadow wrap short rows, and I have come to quickly discover that I prefer German short rows because they're easier to me. But the wonderful thing about this pattern is that I am learning a new technique, and I love learning new techniques so that I don't get stuck doing the same old thing. So yeah, this is my first time doing shadow wrap short rows. Have you done them? In fact, what's your favorite short row method? Do you like the German short rows, or do you like the shadow wrap? Let me know why. Yeah, I would really love to know. And I've been following the tutorial by Vanessa Smith Designs. It's a really good tutorial. She shows you how to do the shadow wrap short rows on the wrong side and the right side. And yeah, she's pretty awesome. So anyway, let me know what you're working on today. Hello. I know I'm looking crazy right now. That is because I am just so frustrated. I am working on this test knit, and I have completed everything. Yeah, I've completed everything except the tubular sewn bind-offs. I saved those till last. I put them on try-on tubing and stuff like that. Okay, my chair is squeaky. All right, I put them on try-on tubing, and I have been working on this for the last hour. I can't get it. I have read the written instructions. I have looked at many YouTube tutorials on the sewn bind off. I can't get it. I just think it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I have ripped it back several times. I haven't been frustrated over a pattern like this in a long time. And here's the thing. It's not the pattern that's the issue. It's my brain cannot compute on how to do a sewn tubular bind off. The pattern, it's just fine. I mean, but look at this bind off. It's so ugly. It's not cute. And what is so incredibly frustrating is that now I have gotten down to the last part of the pattern, which is just to bind it off. And I am now at the final part of the pattern where all I have to do is bind off the neck and the two armholes. That's it. That is it. Like, if I could get this bind off, I could finish this today, this afternoon. But I feel myself getting frustrated. And I'm going to have to put this down. Let me know. Have you all ever gotten so frustrated with like a knit or crochet project or sewing project, whatever, weaving, spinning? Oh, I don't even want to talk about spinning. My e-spinner is still in timeout. But have you all ever got so frustrated with a technique that you just have to like put it on pause for a little bit? Because that's where look at me. Look at my hair. I've got it in like a little bun, whatever, but I mean, at this point, I'm happy my locks are long enough to give me some sort of a ponytail. But yeah, it's just this bind off is not working for me. Has anybody else had trouble with the sewn tubular bind off? Is it just me? Like, am I hooked on phonics? Like, and I'm here in the house by myself. The yarn husband has not gotten off work yet. But y'all, The great thing about that is I can like scream over this tubular bind off. Oh my gosh, it is so frustrating. I don't know if I am. You know what? I'm going to put a quick clip somewhere on here showing you all how I am doing this tubular bind off. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Am I knitting the pearls and purling the knits? Is that what it is? I don't know. Wow. Okay, this has gone on like 5 minutes. I did not mean to go on a 5-minute rant over a tubular sewn bind off. But anyway, y'all, this is where I'm at. I only made one change to this project, and that was the tubular bind off. After trying for 2 days, I just couldn't get it. Also, when I was trying to do the tubular bind off, we had Hurricane Debbie come through, and let me tell you, Debbie left a mess, okay? She left a hot mess. We did good through the storm. But, some of our neighbors and other surrounding areas in the county did not do well. It was a F3 hurricane that touched down. It was only a few minutes from me, and it was crazy. And so basically, I was at home and I was working on this tubular bind off, and we had advisories from the weather service going on all day. And I had to be prepared to go get in the bathtub or go in the hallway and just like hunker down because we were just getting alerts. So I was just trying to finish up this vest as soon as possible. And I had just gotten so frustrated with doing that tubular bind off that I was like, you know what? Today's the day. I don't even know if I'm going to have to evacuate. I am finishing this right now. And so y'all, look, I went down to like a US 2. What's a US 2 is a 2.75 millimeter. And I just bound off in pattern. I did. I failed with the tubular bind off. I failed. I just didn't get it. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. But I do want to, in the future, I would like to rip out this sleeve and redo it. Also, the arm depth was a little bit long for me because my row gauge was off. And so I would like to go back and redo it in the future. But for now, it is what it is. I'm just gonna wear it as so. And it's crazy and a bit frustrating because I learned all these new skills. I did all these new things. And when it came to the bind off, the very last thing I have to do, that's when I failed. But that's knitting for you. I mean, that's really any, I was going to say sport because I've been watching the Olympics. That's any sport for you. But look, wouldn't it be awesome if knitting and crocheting was an Olympic sport? I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome. I did wet block. Yeah, I wet blocked and I soaked it and then I towel dried it. And after I towel dried it, I put it on some blocky mats. And basically what I did was I pinned the cable. So basically this was really like scrunched up. And so when I pinned it, I pinned the cable so that the lace work, the eyelets, and the cables would open. And I feel like they bloomed beautifully. The pattern is wonderfully written. I did want to tell you all a few things just as a little bit advice. Just some things that I wrote down while I was working on the pattern. So if you decide to make this pattern, the first piece of advice would be to read the pattern thoroughly, okay? Read it because if you have a question, it's probably somewhere in the pattern. My next piece of advice would be to only print out what you need. Vanessa makes it very easy for you to go through the pattern and only print out the pages that you need for your size. Also, make sure you do a swatch. I know my swatch let me down, but that was probably my fault as well. Oh yes, watch the tutorials that are included in the pattern. And when you are blocking, you're going to want to pin and stretch out this cable lace, but you're going to want to measure it as you are blocking to make sure that it is going to block straight all the way up. So let's pretend it's 4 inches from lace, from eyelet to eyelet. You're going to want to make sure it's 4 inches all the way down. So those are my pieces of advice if you decide to make this. And so yeah, I am so happy with the fit of this vest. I look fly. I look good. Touch my swag. Wish you could. I love the eyelets that are surrounding the cable. I think it's a beautiful design. And also Vanessa was so helpful. Y'all, I bugged her to death. Like I did. I'm glad we're still friends. But yeah, she was so incredibly helpful. And you know what? Finishing this pattern just made me feel so accomplished. Let's talk about the designer. So this pattern, as mentioned before, is designed by Vanessa Smith of Vanessa Smith Designs. Now, Vanessa can be found on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube. Yes, she has a YouTube channel that talks about a lot of different tutorials and, you know, knitting related things. And so that's really nice. And then let's see, I'm going to link all of her information below. So you will definitely know how to get in contact with her if you need to, and if you want to check out her patterns. And so I just want to give a special shout out to her husband, Cody, because y'all, look at these pictures, okay? He learned photography to showcase her designs. Like, that is awesome. Okay. So Cody, if you're watching, you have been promoted to an official yarn husband. It's a very exclusive club. In fact, right now in my yarn husband club, there's my husband, Jeremy. There's my friend Trish of Tie Dye Diva's husband, Ray. And now Vanessa husband, Cody. Yes. Y'all, congratulations. He's now in the yarn husband club. And I totally just made that up this morning. But I feel like there are lots of wonderful yarn partners out in the world that are just supporting, you know, their significant others who knit and crochet and craft and all that stuff. And I just want to give a shout out to those people. Shout out to the yarn husbands of the world. Okay. Thank you all so much for supporting. Really, thank y'all to all the yarn partners out there. Like, that is awesome that you support us in our crazy, wild, exciting hobby of playing with yarn. So yes, just thank you all so much for that. But yeah, so as I mentioned, I will leave all of Vanessa's information and all that stuff below. Okay, so let me know your thoughts about this pattern. Like, you know, do you want to make it? Are you thinking about it? And if you do make it, what yarn are you thinking of using? Just remember, it's calling for a DK weight, or you could hold it with a lace. But of course, it's all about, you know, trying to get as close to that gauge as possible. But yeah, let me know, what yarn would you use to make this? And so I'm trying to hide like my armhole. I'm not particularly like, I really need to learn how to do that tubular bond off. I've got to redo this. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just, I got a little extra fabric here. Yeah, it's not awful. But, I don't know. It's going to bug me that I did not accomplish that tubular bind off. It is going to bug me. I know I'm going to rip it out and redo it. It's only a matter of time, folks. It's only a matter of time. But I do have some upcoming videos. Let's see. I have, I finished another test knit. It is a test knit by Ashley Lelis, and I will be sharing that with you all as soon as the pattern comes out. I think the pattern is supposed to come out this weekend. Something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to do a dedicated video to that pattern when it comes out. Let's see. Also, I'm going to be doing a crochet roundup video where I'm just going to be talking about some fun projects or patterns that I found this month. Some new projects, new patterns and things like that. Oh, yes. Speaking of projects and patterns, I am going to be doing my fall knitting plans video, and I'm also going to be doing a fall crochet plans video as well. And so I'm excited to do that. I can't believe fall is almost here. We've got what, a good month left, something like that. But I'm tired of the warm weather. In fact, I'm baking right now because I turned the air conditioner off before I filmed, so you all wouldn't hear that. But yeah, so I'm ready for the weather to cool down. I'm ready for the leaves to start changing. And yes, so y'all, I'm in a really good mood today. And I think the reason why I'm in such a good mood is because before I started filming, I listened to the Trouble Man soundtrack by Marvin Gaye. If you have not checked out that album, I highly recommend it. It is the Trouble Man soundtrack by Marvin Gaye. It is fantastic. Definitely go check it out. A lot of times before I start filming, I need to kind of pump myself up, and I'll kind of listen to like whatever songs in my head. But today it was Trouble Man. Definitely check it out. All right, y'all. Let me know what you worked on while you watch, or did you just chill? Either one is perfectly fine with me. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for liking the video, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for clicking that notification bell. I love that. And if you are interested in becoming a member, you can simply click the join button below, and that will get you access to an extra video each month. So definitely check that out. And just remember that each level has different perks. And also I have a Ravelry wish list linked below as well if you want to buy me a pattern. That would be so nice. And also, if you have a Ravelry wish list, you can leave that link below as well, and maybe somebody will see it. You never know. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, bye.